Hey guys, it's Chris Nutt, the 7th grade school counselor here at Lakeview Middle School, and I wanted to go over a couple ways to report bullying and how we report bullying here at Lakeview Middle School. Obviously, we always encourage you guys to report directly face-to-face to an adult whenever possible. It's the best way to get information to adults that can make changes and do things about the situation. But we understand also that it's not always possible, or it's not always accessible to have an adult around, obviously on the bus, when you get home, and those kind of things. So we give you other options and other opportunities to report the bullying directly to us. So the best way to do that is something we've used here for about 7 or 8 years at Lakeview. It's called Sprigeo.com. It's an online reporting system where you can get online, you can share information and things that are happening here at school, and then it goes directly to adults here in the building that can make changes and investigate the situation. So I wanted to show you just how to get there, how to make accurate reports, how to give us the most information possible so that we can deal with every situation that's going on here and continue to make you guys safe while you're in our building. So the best way to get there is just to start from Lakeview Middle School website, which is where I'm at right now. If you go to the tab About Our School up here, you'll see the counseling section, and then right there is Sprigeo. So if you click that, it takes you directly to the Sprigeo website. There are two other ways to do this. You can obviously just go to the URL and type in www.sprigeo, which is sprigeo.com, and go directly to the website. Or there's also applications that you can put on your phone. So if you have an iPhone, there is a Sprigeo application in the Apple Store. There's also a Sprigeo application in the Android marketplace as well. So you can get those for your phone there, and you can report the same way on your phone as you do on your computer, going directly through the website. So once you're to the Sprigeo website, it looks like this. You can ignore pretty much everything on this page except for the send a report. That's the only thing you need to pay attention to. The login information is for the adults that use Sprigeo to investigate reports. The rest of this information is just informational for you or your parents. Talks a little bit about bullying, talks a little bit about Sprigeo and what those things are, and kind of what drives them to continue to create the app and keep it up to date. But the send a report is what we want you to focus on. So you click that. Takes you to this page here, and from this page it'll talk about sending or submitting a report here. Talks a little bit about the App Store and those kind of things. Talks about what you can report. Obviously, we use it specifically for bullying. We want to give you an opportunity to share those kind of things with adults. So those things are listed here, but also safety threats, stuff like that is also listed here. So things you have concerns about. There's a message from Sprigeo. The creator of Sprigeo is Joe Bruzzese, and he has shared some information there that you might find helpful. But then it's just the report. So you'll notice all the reporting stuff here. It always lists Missouri. So you don't have to search for state. School site, if you go here and just start to type in Lakeview, we come up right here. And so you click that. Now we get into like the main components of the report, like where did things happen, what time did they happen, what's the date, and those kind of things. So where did the incident occur? Just give us the most accurate information you can give us. Sometimes you can't, or it's not listed. Sometimes you won't find things on here that are listed, and that's fine. I think they have most of the things on here. Just the closest spot would be best if you can't find the exact situation. But we'll pick, let's do in class for this one. When did it happen? So it always comes up with today's date listed on here, but if it didn't happen today and it happened a couple days or last week, you can change that information just by clicking on here and going to the month and the day and changing it. So I'll leave it as today's date. You can go over here and then pick a time. This one's kind of tricky sometimes too, because sometimes you're not paying attention to when it happened. So just either leaving it blank if you don't know the time, or if you do specifically know just around the time that it happened, that's great. Give us a heads up, and so that way we can accurately figure out like where, when in the building it happened, what time, and where. So I'll just pick something generic there. How many times has a situation happened? Just the best, most accurate information you can give us there would be great. If it's the first time, just put that. If it happens often, make sure you're clicking those things. Have you reported this to an adult? Just let us know if you have or haven't. It doesn't matter either way. This is just more information for us to help in the investigation. This is probably getting into some of the more important things we want you to fill out. Who is bullying, harassing, intimidating, or causing harm? Make sure you're putting a person's name here. We've had a lot of reports this year that come in, and this part is just very generic or not filled out very accurately. And so somebody will say, 8th grader was calling me names. Well, that's horrible, and we don't want that to happen, but I can't investigate or look anything up unless you're giving me an exact name of somebody that I can actually talk to or interact with, or talk to about changing the behavior. So make sure that you're giving us a name there as best you can. If you just know the first name, put the first name down. If you know what grade, maybe, John in 7th grade or Julie in 8th grade, something like that, so we can kind of narrow the search down, that would help. So this is very important. Same thing with this next one. Who is a person being harmed, bullied, or harassed? Make sure you're giving us a name so we know what's going on, so we can pinpoint this down and narrow this down to having a conversation with the person. Description of what happened, be as specific as you can. When you're reporting these things, we understand that sometimes there might be some situations that are not school appropriate, some language that's not school appropriate. We are okay with you using that language and saying those things on this report because we understand that you need to tell us what happened, and on our end, we want to deal with it directly and appropriately. And if I need to know that somebody used some bad language that is not okay for school, I want to make sure that I know exactly what it is they said so I can address it appropriately and make sure that we're dealing with it. Who are you? Obviously, student, teacher, parent. We do allow parents, and anybody can use this site. So not just you students, but make sure you put that on there. What is your name? Okay, it says optional, but we really need you guys to put your names on these. We have not been able to investigate certain situations in the school because we haven't had enough information on some of those. So make sure that you're letting us know exactly who you are so we can call you down if we need to talk and get more information from you so that you can share more information about the event so we can deal with it appropriately. And that leads also back into that other one. Up here where we were talking about making sure that you let us know who's doing the bullying. We've had, as I said, multiple situations this year where this was left blank, and then who was bullying was left with very vague or generic information that we couldn't investigate on. And so when we get those in where we can't do an investigation and we can't look into the situation anymore, those are bully reports that we label as not enough information because we can't deal with them. So in order for us to make Lakeview a safer place, in order for us to make this a place where you guys feel comfortable and address these situations when they arise, we need to have your name. We need to have the other student's name so that we can deal with them. So please make sure you're giving us that information. That's the biggest thing, so we can deal with all of these reports and investigate them appropriately. If you'd like someone to contact you, if you're a student, you can put information there. If you want to put a phone number or email, that's fine. For us, if you're putting your name there, that's our best way of being able to contact you and finding out, what's going on and talking to you here at school. We do that discreetly. We never make a big deal out of it. We don't make a big parade when we're getting kids out of class to talk about this. So just know that we handle this information as confidential as possible. We're discreet with it. We want to make sure that you guys feel comfortable when you report, and also know that you guys feel safe when you're reporting, that we're not giving other students your name or telling other kids that we talked to who reported it. We keep those things very confidential. We don't give that kind of stuff out. And then it asks, obviously, that it shares that you're not a robot, so it'll ask you a few questions when you check that. And then you click Submit. The second you click Submit, those things go directly to myself, Mrs. Dorr, the counselor in 8th grade, the 3 administrators, Mrs. Daniel in 7th, Mrs. Kaler in 8th, and then obviously Mrs. Clemens, who's the head principal. And then they also go to Dr. Josh Colvin, who is the superintendent of student services up at central office. And so they go there, and all of these people get a copy of this report, and then usually either the administrators or myself or Mrs. Dorr start then the process of investigating the report to make sure what happened and then figure out the best way to deal with it. Whether we need to go through the bully process and make sure that we're giving you guys counting up bullying incidents for each student who's engaging in bullying behavior, or whether or not it needs to go to administrators and the administrators need to do a discipline. So sometimes those, sometimes some reports are disciplinable and they need to be handled directly in the office, and sometimes they can be handled with a conversation with the counselor, or maybe even just a phone call from an administrator. But we deal with those all differently, obviously. We want to make sure that you guys are getting that information to us. So just wanted to share all of this stuff with you guys, make sure that you knew accurately how to report this stuff. Make sure you're reporting any sort of bad behavior in the building. We want to make sure you guys are safe. We want to make sure you guys are taken care of when you're here. So please make sure that you're sharing this information so that we can help you guys out as much as possible. But also, the second thing is make sure you share the appropriate information so we know how to investigate this kind of stuff for you guys. We care deeply about you guys. We want to make sure you're safe and comfortable when you're here, and that you're taken care of, and we can't do that if we don't have accurate information. So thank you guys. You guys are doing an awesome job. We appreciate everything you guys do. Make sure you let us know if you need anything. Thanks.